Welcome to The Know. I'm Ashley Jenkins.
I'm Kirk Johnson from the show Crunch Time.
Yeah, which is coming up. You guys will probably remember we had Avery from Crunch Time on last week, and you'll be able to catch Crunch Time in September for Rooster Teeth first members. But that's not news. What is news is that there's tons of speculation that Nintendo could be weeks away from revealing the long-awaited Nintendo NX, but a new report may be giving us some important information about the console's launch titles, one in particular that starts with a P and ends with an OKEMON. I'll leave you to guess, and of course some clues about its price.
This report comes from MCV UK, who claims that multiple sources, including one gaming executive, have confirmed to them that huge franchises will be hitting the NX within 6 months of launch, along with Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which we've known about for a while now.
According to them, Nintendo will also be bringing Mario, big surprise, and wait for it, a Pokemon game developed by Game Freak to the NX within 6 months of launch.
Pokemon on consoles!
It's like a godsend. Everyone's been asking for this for years.
I know I have. The report also states that in addition to these enormous first-party titles, Nintendo has also secured Sega, Square Enix, Ubisoft, Activision, and Warner Brothers for NX games. And hopefully that goes better than this generation and they don't all cancel their port.
That was a little bit rough. According to the sources, Nintendo is bringing third-party titles and massive franchises like Zelda, Mario, and Pokemon early to the NX because Nintendo, quote, is determined that NX will not suffer the same slow start as either the Wii U or 3DS. Really, I didn't know that 3DS had a slow start. I didn't notice. I was busy playing it, I think.
She liked it.
I did.
While gamers expected a new Mario to hit the system at some point, we certainly didn't expect that we might be playing it within months of the new system's release. The last we heard about a new Mario was at E3 when Miyamoto said we might be seeing the game at next year's E3.
Way to tease, Miyamoto. Of course, the biggest news between these two games would be a Pokemon title developed by Game Freak. Traditionally, Game Freak is solely responsible for the full-fledged Pokemon titles we've seen on Nintendo's handhelds.
Bringing a full-fledged Pokemon game to the NX would be an enormously bold move for Nintendo's new console. It's been a staple of their handheld business for so long. They've clearly tried to keep the franchise separated from the consoles, save for the handful of spin-offs created by third-party developers, because I guess they decided they had enough money and didn't want any more.
Seriously, why? I still don't know why we don't have more Pokemon titles on the console, but hey, the NX may change all of that. Considering the upcoming release of Pokemon Sun and Moon in November, it's possible that this Pokemon title is just an NX port of the same game. However, that wouldn't exactly encourage 3DS users to upgrade to the NX since they'll already have been playing that game for months.
It's more likely this is something more than a port, but there's no telling what it could be. The closest things Nintendo's released to proper Pokemon titles on console were Colosseum and XD Gale of Darkness on the GameCube. But again, those weren't developed by Game Freak.
Yeah, one possibility is that they're creating a brand new game that's meant to complement Sun and Moon, perhaps the way Pokemon Yellow complemented Pokemon Red and Blue. They call it Eclipse. Yeah!
Or yet another option would be that this NX title will be whatever Pokemon game comes after Sun and Moon. Since it's more or less an annualized franchise at this point, that 6-month launch window would get them into September timeframe, which sits right in their usual fall release timeframe.
Yeah, do it. Call it Pokemon Eclipse.
Call it Pokemon Eclipse.
It's a good name. Bringing on a full Pokemon game to consoles could certainly appear to be a move to really unify Nintendo's handheld and console business in a big way. If any franchise can do it, it's gonna be Pokemon. There have been some reports that 3DS sales are up 200% since the launch of Pokemon Go, which is weird since that it's not on a 3DS, but maybe it's just got people excited about Pokemon all over again and anticipating Sun and Moon, or revisiting their childhood and playing like their Red and Yellow and Blue, the first ones they ever did, since those are on eShop.
In addition to these launch titles, MCV's sources also allegedly validated the Eurogamer reports from last month are 100% accurate.
100. That's not like 90, that's like not 95.
That's every person,
100%.
Every single percent.
Every word.
Yeah.
It's a lot of percents. Those reports stated that NX is a portable console with a detachable controller. They also claimed that NX games would be played via cartridges, which has got me personally excited, although a lot of people are saying, what the fuck? And that it runs on NVIDIA Tegra X1, a chipset meant for beefy mobile gaming.
In today's report, MCV sources also told them the actual graphics of the NX would be somewhere between the PS3 and PS4, which also lines up with Digital Foundry's breakdown of the Tegra X1's capabilities.
Internet sleuths have also recently found some other evidence to support Eurogamer's and now MCV's claims. NeoGaffers recently discovered a forum post from May that had all of that Eurogamer info in it, 2 months before it went live.
In that post, the source claimed that the price of the NX would be right around $300. According to them, additional LCD screens would go for $100 to $200, depending on the resolution, and around $50 for the detachable controllers.
Yeah, that number also holds consistent with some additional information that surfaced today, while the writer of the MCV UK piece didn't include information about the NX's price in the actual report. He provided some follow-up tweets with hints to things he'd learned from his sources.
In those tweets, writer Christopher Ding said that the NX will be cheaper than we think, and those are in quotes, and indicated a price somewhere around £200, which turns into $260 US, and in the same ballpark as the $300 figure that was cited earlier.
So all those things kind of seem to be circling around each other, which as always could mean everyone is spouting the same bullshit, or they're all hovering close to the truth. Either way, we won't know until Nintendo actually confirms it, but it's looking more and more likely.
Until then, the internet has come to the rescue with a variety of mock-ups showing how the whole thing could work. Some of these mock-ups are pretty ingenious, showcasing 2 portions of the controller that detach from the actual screen, which can then be joined again to form a traditional controller.
And obviously we're talking about fan mock-ups here, let's be very clear. There's nothing official about them, but there's some really compelling examples out there that could be pointing to the direction Nintendo's heading and how this could all fit together in one ecosystem that actually makes sense.
Kind of like a Voltron.
Like a Voltron.
Gaming system. Right now, it seems that Nintendo is angling for the NX to be the ultimate combination of smartphone, handheld, and console gaming all rolled into one.
After Eurogamer's report about the NX being a portable console, the Washington Post followed up with a report of their own, claiming that an additional source, there are a lot of sources out there, told them the NX would also be compatible with Nintendo's smartphone games, which is interesting given their recent efforts.
And today's MCV report includes more details along that same line of thought. One anonymous executive, another source within the gaming industry, mentioned smartphone gaming specifically when speaking with them, saying it won't appeal to PS4 fans. Nintendo seems set on trying to upgrade smartphone gamers. That's going to be a big job for the marketing department.
And also ties in pretty well with their direction for Wii, where they went for mainstream people, which is people that own smartphones rather than specifically people who own consoles, who are probably going to be already more hardcore gamers. And while some won't be happy to hear that Nintendo's still not focusing on the core gamer experience with the NX, it does sound like an interesting attempt by Nintendo to compete in a totally different space than both Microsoft and Sony, which they typically don't think they're a competition for Microsoft and Sony. They consider themselves a toy company, and they're doing their own thing. They're going their own way. And they with the jazz hands. And
their own
jazz
way.
hands and the sources.
The mobile gaming market accounts for a huge chunk of the overall industry's revenue, and capturing that segment could be a huge steal for Nintendo. Pokemon Go wasn't specifically built by Nintendo, but it gives us an example of the type of appeal a portable Nintendo console could have.
That's especially important in Japan, where people have basically stopped buying consoles altogether. Still, the Nintendo 3DS accomplishes the same task, and this would kind of be a more expensive version of that handheld that then can also hook up to your TV, bringing their two businesses together.
And it's not like other mini consoles, some running the same Tegra technology, for instance, have sold like gangbusters, but they didn't have the same franchises that Nintendo has, and launching the NX with 3 of the biggest ones in their arsenal could be the difference maker.
What do you guys think of Mario and a console Pokemon coming to the NX in its launch window? I hope you're excited. I'm excited. Would you be interested in the NX for $250 to $300? Let us know in the comments.
For future reports about the Nintendo NX, like this video and subscribe to The Know.
Because we had Avery in last week. So,
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
So lots to live up to.
Did he bomb?
No, he did a great job.
Oh, damn it.
He did a great job.
Don't say that.
People really enjoyed
Good.
People really enjoyed his head to body size ratio.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah.
He has a big head, apparently.
Yeah. Well, what I really
Now I'm terrified.
wish we'd had the opportunity to do while he was here is bring him in and bring one of our guys, Gus, in and have them host together, because they both have very skinny bodies and very large heads, and it would have been just a very surreal episode.
Yeah.